how did you come up with Awkward Embraces?
Um, there's one, episode number 4 is one particularly awkward event in my life. The morning is called The Morning After. And I've always wanted to put that into like a romantic comedy. I've had all these plans of writing a feature romantic comedy and to have that as a scene. And then I ended up one night just writing it as like a short, and it was going to be a short film by itself. But it was so funny, and we had so much fun shooting it that everybody was like, you know, I was like, we could totally do more. So then I just started using the same character and then pulling. There's plenty of horribly awkward experiences in
In your life.
my life.
You say in your life. Yeah.
So I just,
So a lot of the episodes are based on experiences that you yourself have had?
So far, they're almost all based on experiences I've actually had. A couple of them are based on experiences friends have had.
Ah, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I exaggerate.
Oh.
I will say that.
Well, of course. Of course.
They're not quite that bad.
No.
But they're pretty bad.
Yeah. So how did you come across Adam and Becky?
Freaking sheer crazy universe luck.
Yeah.
I met this guy online.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dating him at the time that I wrote The Morning After, and he had been talking to me about the Canon 5D Mark II, which is the camera that we shoot on now. And I was like, oh, that camera's so cool. I want to shoot something on that camera. And so then he read The Morning After, and he was like, oh my God, I work with this guy that has that camera. Do you want me to send him the script and see if he's interested in doing it? And Adam was interested in doing it, and somehow actually liked working with me enough to stick around and do the whole thing with Becky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then how did you find Candace and Lindsay?
I went to college with Candace and Lindsay. We were all theater majors together at Stephen F. Austin State University, Nacogdoches, Texas. And we all ended up coming out to LA. I actually crashed on Lindsay's couch for a couple of weeks when I first moved out here. And so I pretty much wrote it for them because I just know they're two of the funniest girls that I know. So I was like, please, make me funnier. Thanks.
That's great. Which leads into how much of Awkward Embraces is really collaborative. Since you've written it and you're producing it, how much does Lindsay and Candace work with you on storyline?
On set, like, it changes an incredible amount because Adam brings in ideas and Becky brings in ideas, and then we improv so much stuff that almost all of my most favorite lines from these episodes are improv lines that they came up with. And like the first episode, the fanny pack, was Adam's idea, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And then I emailed Richard and I was like, hey, Adam wants you to have a fanny pack. So then Richard brought in all these fanny pack mannerisms, and that makes the whole episode so funny.
Right.
So it ends up being really collaborative. It ends up being a huge group effort.
Excellent. So then, how do you find these people? So we know how you met Candace and Lindsay and Adam and Becky. How do you feel that you find these people? I mean, it's probably pretty hard.
So far, I mean, I had been out here like 2.5 years before we started shooting, and I belonged to a theater company, and I took a couple of classes, and I have friends who do stuff like improv and whatever. So so far, everybody that I've brought in are people that I've worked with before, and usually I write the script kind of backwards because I'll be like, oh, Kevin's so funny. I want to write something with Kevin. Oh, Kevin would be perfect for the script version of this thing that happened to me that one time. So then I usually end up writing the scripts with people in mind that I've already worked with. So for all of season 1, nobody's auditioned. It's all been people that I worked with before, and usually I wrote the script that they're in with them in mind.
That's more fun that way.
Yeah, it is.
More family.
It is. I think that's a lot of why we have so much fun.
Definitely. So you're a busy lady because you do a lot of work outside of this. This is not your only project going on. Right. So how do you make time for Awkward Embraces?
Well, I don't really have a life, so to speak. So I do a lot of my work. I work nights mostly, like 3 to midnight in an emergency animal hospital, and I work a lot of overtime. But I have a smartphone. I have with my email and stuff on it. So a lot of the coordinating and stuff happens while I'm at my day job. I just, they think I pee a lot because I'm like, oh, nobody's available for the 29th. I'm going to go pee really quick and send everyone an email and see it. So I do a lot of my like communicating with people, all of it through like email and texting and G-chatting and stuff like that. Most of it while I'm at my day job. And then I do all my writing and stuff. I'm a night owl, so I'm usually up from like, I get home at like midnight, and then I'm usually up to like 2 or 2:30, making up call sheets or, making lists of things or working on the website or all that other stuff. So it's pretty much my spare time is almost always spent on doing that stuff.
Sounds like it's your baby.
It is my baby.
It's your passion project.
It is my passion project.
Let's see. Now, in writing it, do you feel that you've got a lot of pressure to keep coming up with things, or is it very easy, or do you feel like you're bombarded with ideas? How is your writing process?
I have a ton of ideas. Things are always happening all the time. I have my drafts folder. Somebody will say something, or they'll tell me a story that I think is really funny, and I'll put it in like a draft folder. But I also have like a lot of, it's not necessarily anxiety, but it's just sort of a general worry that I'm going to run out of ideas. I'm not going to be able to. I already wrote a couple of episodes for season 2, not because I need them, but just because I wanted to make sure I could.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a little bit like, oh God, what if I forget something? But I'm constantly thinking about it, so I'm constantly building like potential plot lines and possible whatevers. So
you're a planner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little type A.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Be prepared. It's important. So a lot of the series is a bad date gone, or a date gone wrong. Do you ever think like you're gonna have a bad date, you're gonna write it into an episode, it's gonna get on the net, it's gonna be hugely popular, and that guy it's based on is gonna call you up and go, what the F? Do you ever worry about that?
I usually, when I'm writing it, I try and make it enough different that won't happen. But if it does, I think it would be really funny. And I don't think I've written anyone like hugely horribly. Like the ones that are exaggerated to a really horrible point, like the blind date. That guy is a mixture of like 2 different dates, and then the actor came in and just made it like way crazier. So if it's insulting at all, it's usually not actually based on a real person. It's based on the worst parts of a couple of dates, and then the actor comes in and makes it even more awesomely horrible.
Good. Yay for weirdos. So what is your favorite part of this whole process of writing and producing and acting? What do you think you enjoy the most?
Well, I'm an actor at heart. I mean, I originally started doing this because I wanted to act, and so I was like, oh, I should just write stuff for myself to act in. And then I was like, oh, I guess now I have to produce it too. I've discovered that I really love writing a lot. I love doing it. And the production part can be frustrating, but when it all comes together, when we're in the editing bay and we're finalizing the final cut, that's like the best. That makes me feel like, oh my God, look what happened.
Yeah.
But in the end, like I'm an actress through and through. That's what I really.
It's what you're loving the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And then my last question for you.
Thank God.
Is poor nerdy Jessica going to have any kind of hope for romance in season 2?
Well, the problem is that I'm finding it hard to think of relationship scenarios that are anywhere near as funny as the dating scenarios.
Right.
So if I get to a point where I can think of a really good, like, hilarious storyline for her in a relationship, then definitely. But so far,
she's not gonna have any luck.
Not if it's funnier for her not to. Then no.
Good.